All right, what's up, guys? Good morning. Give me a quick sound check. Hey, Marco, Lorna. All right, folks, we are good to go. Yeah, sorry for the delay there. I forgot what day it was. I was I was at the gym doing my squats, and then I said, "Oh boy, I've got to go do a pre-market prep." But all right, y'all, we'll jump in. I've got a few names on the watch list: Amazon, Tesla, Google, Carvana, Microsoft, and Meta. Let me get rid of Nvidia. Get rid of the futures. And there is the watch list. So Google here. Nice move yesterday. They finally got the close above that 180. We had the spot gamma call wall at 180. And now as of this morning, the call wall goes up to 185. Think of the call wall like a big magnet. It can be a brick wall. It can be a big spot of resistance. If price is under the call wall, it can also be a big magnet. The call wall goes to 185. And then on the 2-day time frame here, we've got this beautiful squeeze setting up. We've got the white dot for the A plus setup. Right, so the trend, the structure, the momentum, the buy signal, the scoring system, everything coming together for the A plus squeeze. On the push through 180 yesterday, we had some calls that expire next week. We sold those calls, we took our profit, then we turned around and opened up a pretty similar trade. We had the 175 calls for next Friday. And again, it's a great setup. Next week's also a short week. We have a half day on Wednesday, and the market is closed on Thursday. So we took our profits, and then we opened up the 180 call for July 19th, rather. 180 call for July monthly. So very similar idea. Little bit more time till expiration. And now what I'm looking for from here, if they can take that 2-day squeeze and keep it above 180, I think Google sees 185, 186. Now that's in the short term. Bigger picture, there could be room for a move towards 190, 195-ish. And I say that because the daily squeeze hasn't even fired yet. The daily squeeze hasn't fired, and we haven't even gotten that momentum cross. Meaning, basically, Google's still very much coiled up, getting ready for potentially a big move. The daily squeeze hasn't fired, and the 2-day squeeze also hasn't fired. My thinking is when they fire, Google sees much higher than 185, 186. But in the short term, if we can catch 185-ish, 186 today, if not today, sometime this week, I would cash out on the calls, take off our second round of profits, and then on a little dip or something like that, probably look to reload. Reload for a bit higher. So good looking squeeze action here for Google. And then we also picked up some Tesla yesterday. And I'll be the first to admit, Tesla's, she's a tricky one. She can be a little bit of a spaz. I dated a few girls like Tesla back in high school. So the pattern here for Tesla as of late, they try to get a move going. They try getting it through that key 185, and then they continue to drop the ball. All right, over and over and over again. They tried for it back here, and they end up right back under 185. Pretty good push right here in another dip. And then again, and again. 185. Not only the spot gamma call wall. If we take a quick look at that over here. Interesting. All right. The call walls bend 185. This morning, call wall goes to 190. Very, very interesting. Regardless, though, 185, very important level. That's our weekly 21 EMA. Now, unlike in Amazon or a Google or a Microsoft, Nvidia, etc., Tesla has no weekly uptrend. 21 below the 50, 21 below the 200. We've got the 50 trending lower. We're just barely getting a momentum cross. We have a big 3 score of -3. So take that into consideration. The weekly chart for Tesla gets a -3, while the weekly chart for Google gets a perfect 12. Amazon gets a 10 out of 12. Nvidia has a perfect 12. And Netflix here also has the perfect 12. Momentum, trend, structure, much more bullish than Tesla. With that being said, though, at a bare minimum, it can at least keep it above that 185-ish. At the very least, keep it above that weekly 21. Then I think they can try to work on a path higher. 190, 195, 200-ish. And for today's session, we have A plus squeezes on the 2-hour and the 1-hour time frame. So what I did here yesterday, very conservative trade. I did the 185 put credit spread for this Friday. Now, typically what I would do if I find a 2-hour, 1-hour A plus squeeze, if I've got the white dot, I want to lean a bit more towards, calls, at the money calls, in the money calls, a debit spread, or maybe an out the money butterfly. The put credit spread, much more conservative. The reason I'm going with that put credit spread, it's got a great 2-hour and 1-hour squeeze. I don't fully trust Tesla just yet. All right, we don't have the weekly uptrend. We've got a crappy score of -3. Doing that 185 put credit spread puts me in a position where, at the bare minimum, if Tesla can at least close above 185 come Friday, at some point I'm going to pull some decent profits out of that credit spread. Then if we could get 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 weekly closes above that 185, then I find the A plus squeeze and I try to get a little more aggressive. A little bit more aggressive in my strategy. Buying calls, doing a debit spread, doing a butterfly. But for Friday, we've got the 185 put credit spread. We shall see what she can do. And then for Amazon here, we have the July expiration 200 call fly. I think Amazon has a lot of potential. Right, Google made a nice push. Nvidia's been a beast. Netflix made a good move. I do think potentially Amazon might be next. Now, if Amazon breaks the daily 50, then I think in the short term it's a bit more of a dud. But when I say there's potential here, what I'm referring to is all the squeezes, mainly the bigger time frames. 1 hour, 4 hour, 2-day, 3-day weekly squeeze. For conversation's sake, if the 2-day, 3-day, and weekly squeeze, if they all fire to the upside, I think that takes Amazon towards 195, 200. In the short term here, they have to break that 190. We've had the call wall at 190 for, I want to say, about a month now. If they can't get it above the 190, all that squeeze action, it's basically all to do for nothing. Through 190, I think they can get the party going. Now, if we check out the 2-day squeeze, I think we'll get the big move when momentum supports the idea of a big move. We need the big three: trend, structure, and momentum. When you get the big three in a squeeze, pretty nice moves tend to unfold. On the 2-day squeeze here, let me clean this up for you. But on the 2-day squeeze here, we have good trend, we have good structure, we don't have that momentum cross. They can't really get the party going until they take that momentum line and pull that through zero. If they can do that, we will get a buy signal, we'll get the white dot, we'll have an A plus squeeze. Then I think Amazon can break out. They've got to get 2-day momentum, and they've got to get that 3-day momentum. Good trend, good structure. If they can finally put some gas in the tank, then I think you get your breakout and you're seeing 195, 200-ish. That might take another 1 or 2 weeks. But if and when they do that, I think Amazon might be the next name here for a big move towards the upside. We have the July expiration 200 call fly. At some point, I want to buy the 200 call. I'd like to find a spot to get a little bit more aggressive. So we are long Amazon, we are long Google and Tesla. And then another one I like here would be Microsoft. Microsoft's got the A plus squeeze on the weekly, the 30-minute, the 15-minute, and the 5-minute. Now, as far as the weekly squeeze goes, this would point towards an eventual push towards 465-ish. Oops. There we go. An eventual move towards 465. They just got the fresh momentum cross. We've got the white dot for the A plus squeeze. The one thing that could be a little better would be the entry. It's a really solid weekly squeeze. My preference would be we're buying those calls or we're doing our thing getting long a little closer to our 21 EMA, like 435, 430, 425, 420. An entry a little closer to that 21 EMA gives me a chance to take that A plus squeeze with a much better risk reward. Now, I'm not too sure if I'm going to get the pullback. If we drop down to the 30-minute time frame, we've got the squeeze and the white dot. Squeeze and the white dot on the 15-minute, and the squeeze and the white dot on the 5. So potentially, if the 15-minute and the 5-minute and the 30-minute squeezes fire, that might mean I'm not getting that pullback there on the weekly squeeze. But I do like that one, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. And then another one I think may be getting ready for a big move. Market willing, of course. Meta. Weekly squeeze here for Meta. It's a lot like that 3-day squeeze for Amazon, where you have good trend, you have good structure. If they can get that momentum cross, this turns into an A plus setup. We will get the white dot, and if we get the white dot, then it could be game on for a move towards 550-ish, which I, for one, would love to catch. Not an A plus setup right now. That could be one as early as maybe next week. So keep an eye on Meta, keep an eye on Microsoft. We've got some Google, some Amazon, and some Tesla. And we took a losing trade in Procter & Gamble yesterday. Here's the beauty of the indicator, especially with the white dot. If you have the white dot, you've got a great setup. Until that white dot disappears or until the squeeze fires, there's a pretty damn good chance you might catch an explosive move. If you lose the white dot before the squeeze fires, something's changed, right? It might be a trend thing, it might be structure, it might be momentum. Point being, something has changed. I think risk management is basically this simple. If I find myself in a trade and it's pulling back on me, I'm losing my signals, things are starting to shift, I ask myself one question. If I didn't already have the trade, if I was out there looking for a new trade, would I buy it all over again right here, right now? Based on the current signals, would I jump in and take a fresh trade on this setup? If the answer is no, you should probably close that trade, right? If you wouldn't buy it all over again, why would you continue to hold it? Very, very simple. On Procter here, we had the white dot squeeze on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the 2 hour time frame. We bought our calls here last Friday on that candle. And then as you can see yesterday, something changed. We lost our buy signal. No more green candle, no more green bar. And even worse, we lost our white dot. Last Friday, it was an A plus squeeze. Yesterday afternoon, it was no longer an A plus squeeze. Down here on the 4 hour chart, same thing. We had all the white dots and then we lost them. 2 hour squeeze, same exact thing. We had the white dots and then we lost them. No more A plus squeeze on the daily. no more on the 4 hour, no more on the 2 hour. And then my 1 hour and my 30-minute charts, they've got a fresh sell signal. I ask myself that question. If I wasn't already long PG, based on the current signals, would I buy it all over again? The answer was no. I don't have an A plus squeeze on the daily. I don't have it on the 4. I don't have it on the 2 hour. And my 1 hour and my 30-minute, they're printing a sell signal. If I was scanning for a new trade, I would not buy anything that looks like PG. What do? You cut that trade and you move on to greener pastures. And a lot of times I can save you some unnecessary damage. Think of, what was it? MRK about a month ago. We bought MRK because we had the white dot. On that candle right there, we lost our white dot. We dumped our calls on that. We dumped our calls on that candle. Now, from there, anything could happen, right? I can take off my trade. The following morning, MRK could gap up 10, 15%. Yeah, that'll suck, of course. But the only thing I control is, what are the signals doing right now? After I cut the trade, what happens next? Really none of my business. And by taking off the MRK calls back here, we avoided a very nasty flush. So risk management, I think, is that simple. If you've lost your reasons for taking that trade to begin with, you should probably think about cutting that trade. Nice and simple. So we cut PG. We are long Tesla. We are long Amazon. We are long MRK. And then a quick look here at the futures. At the S&P futures down about a third. We've got the QQQ futures down about a third. Dow Jones futures are down about a quarter. And the IWM futures down about 0.6. And then I believe tomorrow or Friday, don't quote me, but tomorrow or Friday, we have the PCE report. Be mindful of that. But that's what I got for y'all. And tonight, I'm doing a live demo here for the big 3 squeeze indicators. And what I'm doing tonight in real time is building out my watch list. So I'm going to update the scoring system here. We'll figure out the strongest and the weakest sectors. Then we'll crank up the scans. We'll check out the watch list columns. My goal tonight is to end our time together with 10, maybe 15 A plus squeezes on the watch list. What I need from all of you, come through tonight, bring me your best picks. I'll take your picks. I'll put them here on the watch list columns. If you've got an A plus setup, we'll throw that on the watch list. But I want to end the night with 10, maybe 15 names that look exactly like Google on that 2-day time frame. Right, we want to find these explosive moves before they take place. So come hang out tonight. But if y'all got any questions, anything you want to take a peek at, throw it at me here in the chat. And we'll hang out for another 5 or so minutes. I got a few trades to go keep an eye on. Hey, Art. Yeah, I'm loving the white dot. It's all the same criteria, but it cleans things up nicely. Now we don't really need the other labels. And don't get me wrong, the other labels are cool. That's basically our checklist. So for Google, for example, one momento. There we go. But if we check Google here, we're getting the white dot because all the criteria lines up. All right, all that criteria comes from these labels. Are we above the ATR trailing stop? Do we have bull momentum? Do we have all the structure criteria? Do we have all the trend criteria? Do we have the squeeze? Do we have the buy signal? Do we have the perfect score of 12? If we've got all those things at the same time, that makes for an A plus squeeze. Now the white dot, that captures all of that. So we can take the labels and we can take them off the chart. We can clean things up a bit, and we have two things to focus on. Or really one thing to focus on, the white dot. The white dot and then two labels up here. All right, APO. So let me go here. All right, APO. APO has been setting up nicely. Let me pull it up for you. APO has a big 2-day squeeze, a big 3-day squeeze, a weekly squeeze, a daily squeeze here with the white dots, a 4-hour squeeze here with the white dot, and a 2-hour squeeze with the white dot. That makes APO a really clean setup. The next piece of the puzzle, we want to take the A plus setups in the strongest sectors in the market. How can I figure out who's the strongest? That's when I jump over here to the spreadsheet. And if we look at the rankings here for the sectors, the top 5 would be XLC, biotech, HYG, not really a sector. So XLC, biotech, XLK, energy, and SMH. The strongest possible score would be a 60 out of 60. APO is a financial name. The financials XLF, they grade out as a 12 out of 60. So not a terrible score. Not like a XLB or an ARC, but not a great score either. Meaning APO, it has a great setup. The group that it belongs to, in the short term, leaves a little bit to be desired. Not a bad chart, but a little room here for progress. Can they get that momentum cross? Can we get a brand new daily buy signal? Hey, if they can do that, that might make for a good move here in the banks. But at the moment, not quite as strong as an SMH, an XLC, etc. Not at the moment. Bobby, I'll be updating the trade sheet every night moving forward. I got it updated last night, so I'll keep on updating that every night after the close. SWK, that one is setting up for a short. A plus on the weekly, the 4-hour, and the 15. The red A plus. All right, red candle, aka the sell signal, the white dot, score of negative 12, makes for a good short. Same thing on the 4-hour, and same thing here on the 15. It's a bit of a rare sight in this market. A short is setting up. I like it. Yeah, Alan, if you buy the system or you sign up for the master class on Saturday, you get everything here on the charts. You get the big 3 squeeze histogram. You get the big 3 buy and sell signals, right, the colored candles. You get the upside and the downside targets. You get the labels over here. You get the multi-time frame buy and sell signal labels. You get the multi-time frame squeeze labels. And if you're on Thinkorswim, you also get all the watchlist columns. The only thing not available on TradingView would be the scans and the watchlist columns. But the histogram, the buy and sell signals, etc., those are on TradingView and TOS. You get the whole kit and caboodle, my friend. Is SWK a sector? No, I believe SWK is Nathan, a stock in XLI. So if we go check XLI, yeah, we'd want to short that, right? SWK looks like a short, and the industrials have a negative 20. The 4th weakest sector. Microsoft put credit spread. Microsoft's in a tricky spot where it's got that beautiful weekly squeeze, which might imply you don't get a bigger pullback. That weekly squeeze might have things off to the races. However, at the same time, Microsoft could pull back to 420. That would remain a beautiful weekly squeeze. Microsoft could pull back to the daily 21 around 435. It'd still be a very bullish daily chart. My preference usually, I want to take my entry, whether it be a credit spread, whether it be calls, right near that weekly or that daily 21. The point I'm trying to make is if you would do a put credit spread here, I would do that with the willingness to potentially sit to a pullback down to 445, 440. And then if anything, look to buy a bit more if you do get that pullback. You could keep your risk a lot tighter by focusing on, say, the 30-minute squeeze, doing that put credit spread, and then putting your exit below that 30-minute 21. But it'll be a great chart all the way down to the daily or the weekly 21. Thoughts on Apple calls? I don't really have a setup here for Apple. Don't get me wrong, Apple's a beast. But I'm looking for that next big, daily 4-hour squeeze. With that being said, we do have a brand new 4-hour squeeze. It's not an A+ setup right now, but maybe with a little patience, sometime next week, we get the white dot here on the 4-hour for Apple, and that could make for a nice trade. What I would do for now is watch that 4-hour squeeze develop. Give that bad boy some time to build up some energy. Podmas, if you bought the big three and joined the compounding growth room last year, you have a discounted price for the masterclass in a pretty good discount. So if you shoot me an email or reach out to customer support here at Simpler, they can definitely take care of you and get you that discounted price. All right, guys, one more here. Let's take a look at Chewy. And then is there any way to scan outside of Thinkorswim? I'd imagine there has to be a way, but not a way that I would typically use. But I can definitely look into that for you. What I would love to do at some point is get the scan on the website. We do have a web-based scanner here at Simpler. I would love to take all the A+ criteria and then throw that on the web-based scan. That way, regardless of your platform, you could just log into the website, fire up the scan, and do your work. Chewy, yeah, Chewy's a bat out of hell here. Big time move here for Chewy. Now, I wouldn't trade it until I get a fresh squeeze. All right, that's just me being me. But I've got to respect how strong it is. It must be all the tennis balls I'm buying Coco. The tennis ball business is a booming. But all right, y'all, I'm going to let you go here. Cash markets open in 40 seconds. So go kick some ass today. Come hang out tonight for the webinar. Bring me your best stock picks. We'll finish up the night with 10, maybe 15 A+ squeezes on the watch list. And then we're kicking off the masterclass on Saturday. Y'all have a great day. Trade good. Follow your game plan. For those of you in the mastery, I will talk to y'all very soon.